guys, and welcome to my 39th week pregnancy update. Oh my god, I cannot believe that there is just, well, for me now, like a day left until my due date. But I cannot believe that I have made it past 39 weeks and I'm able to reflect on the week for you. And I've got dressed as well. I've done my makeup and I'm actually wearing clothes, which is a bit of a miracle considering how the last couple of weeks have been for me. But I'm really pleased that I've made myself feel a little bit better in making a bit of an effort. And so I thought I'd film my 39th week pregnancy update today, show you my hopefully final bump shot. I have no idea what the next week or two have in store for me, but without further ado, let's get straight into what's happened whilst I've been 39 weeks pregnant. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on, I obviously mentioned this last week, but I had a consultant appointment the day I turned 39 weeks pregnant, and for me that was a chance to understand how my platelet levels were and to chat about what they think they might have in store, because I was under the impression my last consultant appointment that they might make an abrupt decision to induce me based on the fact that my platelet levels are decreasing and decreasing. So naturally I was really worried, so Rich came with me, thank goodness. But the consultant that I had was a different consultant that I'd ever seen before, and he basically was really reassuring. He said that whilst my platelet levels are low, are definitely on the low side, unless they go under 100, then that's when I can't have an epidural. But other than that, he referred me to the haematologist, which is the blood specialist people, and they aren't that concerned until your platelet levels are in like single figures, and mine are still over 100. So that was quite good to hear, but then I also don't really know what that means. And he also had to make the anaesthesiologist aware of my platelet levels, because as and when I go into labour, they'll have to take blood to check my platelet levels to then determine whether or not I can have an epidural. I've mentioned before, but that's something I do want to avoid, but it's good to know that the option's there should I be in a lot of agony, especially if I were to be induced at a later date. I've heard that that makes things a lot more painful, and you just don't know what you'll want in that moment. So that's kind of good to know. I was really worried. I thought that I was going to go and they'd be like, you're going to be induced on this date. And I had this really bad anxiety and I went to hospital really worried. But the consultant managed to reassure me. He did mention that even at my levels now, it means that if I needed to have an assisted delivery, I would only be able to have forceps. I couldn't have the one where they basically put a suction cup on baby, because they think that because obviously baby's got my blood at the moment until she comes out and starts to build her own antibodies and stuff, if she begins to bleed, then her blood might not clot. So it's just precautions that they need to take to prevent cutting the baby, which means like if they have the suction cup, it can sometimes leave a bruise or even kind of make a small cut on top of their head. And the other thing that they would avoid doing is actually putting, when they're monitoring the heartbeat, they wouldn't stick something on their head to keep an eye on it, because again, it might cut. So they need to be really careful, and he's added that to my notes, so as and when it happens, the midwife and the team that are going to be there when I go into labour are aware of that. So it's good to know that there's like a plan and I don't have to be induced just yet. And he also said that when the baby's born, she will have to be referred to a paediatrician just so that they can check her bloods. They'll probably check them when she's born to see what her platelet levels are like, if they're the same as mine, and then they'll probably check them a few hours later to see if they're beginning to go up. So that for me just means that I'll have to have, I'll definitely have to probably stay in hospital, which I've kind of come to terms with. I really don't want to have to, but I feel like for first time mums it's quite common anyway, so that's kind of annoying, but I'd rather the baby be in the best place. So that's kind of how that consultant appointment went, which was good. Prior to the consultant appointment, I had a scan, which was a growth scan at 39 weeks. So it's weird to have a scan that late because you can't really see much in the scan. Like where before they'd do an ultrasound and you'd see the baby on the whole screen, now I could just see like a foot or something like that. So she's obviously massive, and They wanted to guess that the baby weighs about 9 pounds already, which I was horrified at because that sounds huge. I was a 9 pound 9 baby, so I was a really big baby. And for me, that just worries me because I don't really have any like labour signs yet. And so the thought of her being 9 pound then, she's only going to keep growing. So I'm just really nervous that my baby's going to be huge. And then I am more likely to need like an assisted delivery or even potentially a C-section. So I'm hoping that she's like not stops growing, but that they are marginally wrong, because it can be, well, they said to me then that it can be 10% kind of difference, but it still seemed really big even with 10% kind of off of it. So we'll see what it's like when she comes. Everything else was fine. She was absolutely fine, measuring well, and because I'm very tall, it's not concerning to them that she's weighing that much, but it's also concerning to me because that is that is a lot. So we'll see what she actually is and if that was accurate or not. But it's just really weird to think that that could be the last time that I see her until she's born. And it was a very, like, you couldn't see face or anything because she is engaged, that you just saw kind of top of head. They got enough to measure, but you couldn't see like a side profile or anything. So that's how the scan went, which was, I did not expect it to be that big at all. I think averagely they're like 7 to 8 pounds at this point, or even not even that. So to be 9 pounds, she's obviously above average. Whereas a few weeks ago, I was told that she was measuring small. So it just shows, doesn't it, that things can definitely change. And yeah, she's gonna probably be quite a big baby. Whilst I was having the appointment as well, I'll just mention this, that they took my bloods to check my platelet levels because I'll have another consultant appointment on my due date, which will be tomorrow. And so they want to just, again, keep monitoring me because I'm so close to the end. But when they took bloods, they left a bruise. I'm always bruising. I'll show you what it's looking like. But can you see that? That was from like 4 days ago and it's still really bad. So you can probably understand why I don't really want an epidural if I've reacted like that to just a blood test. But like I said, we'll see what happens on the day. But it's really scary to know that that day could be today, it could be tomorrow. You just don't know. You are literally a ticking time bomb. So it's really weird. But yeah, I'm just pleased that I don't have to be induced immediately. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. They might decide to, later down the line, if my platelet levels have gone down a lot, maybe they might make a different decision. But it was nice to come away from the hospital thinking, oh my God, that worry was for nothing. So another thing that's happened this week that was basically a new symptom was that where my stretch marks have got so bad, they've almost come up in these tiny little like spots. They're not even like spots, but they're just like little bumps. I think I mentioned this in last week's video, but basically the only thing that has helped me reduce how itchy it's been, honestly, it's like I've had, or I imagine it's what it's like having chickenpox, where there's this deep desire to just like itch your skin, but you know you can't because it's just going to make things worse and make things even more irritable, because the more you itch something, like the worse it will feel in the long run. So you try to avoid it, but it's so hard. So I stocked up on calamine cream this week. I went down to Superdrug and got 1 tub, went through that in like 2 days, had to get some more. It's absolutely fine to use when you're pregnant. I asked a consultant what I should use because it was getting so itchy and so unbearable, and he said that's the best thing. And I also got some like bath salts for itchy skin and like dry skin and stuff, and I've been using the combination of the two, and today's actually the first day that it's felt better. It doesn't like stop itching, but it's feeling a lot more calm and not as irritated as it did before. So that's been really weird. It's just been so itchy, and it's just been so uncomfortable, and it makes you not want to get dressed because clothes rub on it, and it's been horrendous. So to be feeling a little bit better about that is good. I will show you my belly shot soon, and you'll just see that my stretch marks, I've just got so much worse over the last couple of weeks, and it's no surprise that my skin is reacting in the way that it is, because it's been like all of a sudden. I swear at like 33 or 34 weeks I had like no stretch marks, and now my stomach is just riddled with them. So I will show you in a moment. So this week I've obviously been on maternity leave all week, and Rich and I went shopping, and I thought I'd just mention this because I felt so dizzy when we went shopping. And we've not done a lot this week. We've taken it very easy, and literally I've not even left the house very often. The only time was really to go to the hospital and go to a midwife appointment that I went to today, which again I'll talk about within the video. And it's just been to like go shopping or grab things. But we went just around Tesco's and I was so dizzy. I literally was like stood there like, Rach, I feel so dizzy. And it's really weird because I've never really had that so bad. I had a bit of a spell of feeling like it when I was like 36 weeks, but other than that it felt fine after, so it was really weird to feel that again. Thing is, it's no indication that like labour's coming, it's just an annoying symptom that my body just doesn't like pregnancy so much, and I've definitely got to a point where I'm just so done with being pregnant. And I was beginning to worry a little bit about the birth, and you know, I've never done it before, so it's that feeling of the unknown. I don't know what it's going to be like. It's going to be so invasive and horrid, but it's the only way obviously to get them out, which is, you know, you kind of sign up for it when you get pregnant. But I was so worried about it kind of before, but now I'm getting to this stage where I'm like, I literally don't care. I just really want her out. I want my body to start feeling a little bit more normal. I can't wait to not be carrying around so much weight. I'm getting so big now, and I keep growing. So I'm ready to not be pregnant anymore, and for her to make an arrival and just to start feeling a little bit better in myself. I know that you don't for probably months, but I'm just so done with being a massive whale, basically. I also saw a statistic online that said that only 5% of babies are actually born on their due date, which is so unmotivating. I feel like as soon as you hit your due date, you will just be like so fed up, and I know I'm already am, and I'm not even reached it. It's tomorrow, and unless she makes an appearance today, which I highly doubt, I just know that every day after my due date I'm going to be in this like weird limbo. I'm going to just be like, oh come on, hurry up. I had this like, you imagine them coming when you're told they are, and I know that it can be, you know, your cycles can be measured in all different ways. I don't know actually when you ovulated and like the date of conception, but I just wish that it was more scientific, because right now obviously I don't know when I'm gonna give birth. It's just like a ticking time bomb, and I wish I knew when it was going to happen, but then I also don't want to be induced, so it's just one of those weird things really. Maternity leave has definitely made the waiting around for baby so much worse, because before I was keeping myself busy and it was easier to distract myself, whereas now it's all that I'm thinking about. So if she could just hurry up, that would absolutely be great. But next I'm going to show you my belly shot and just show you how big I'm looking and what my stretch marks are looking like, because they're so bad. So this is what I'm looking like with clothes on. As you can tell, so big. And then without clothes, look how bad they've got. I feel like I've just exploded in stretch marks. And you might be able to see like where it was a bit drier, where I was so itchy, and it was mainly down here where it was just so unbearably itchy, but the calamine cream definitely does help, and that's what people use when they have chicken pox. But that's what I'm looking like from the front. From the side. That is so big. And I've got, these ones are just getting more aggressive and growing. I feel like I'm getting like bigger around my waist, and obviously my belly, my thighs, my bum, everywhere. And then this is it from this side. I did feel like she had dropped earlier, but now I feel like she's still quitting. I still feel like she's sitting quite high, so I just wanted to hurry up. But that is my belly shot and all of my stretch marks. I will let you know after like delivery with my postpartum updates how they're going in terms of like fading and stuff, but no surprise because I've got so big. So next up I wanted to touch on sleeping, because that is such a problem when you get to this late stage of pregnancy. Sleeping is such a pain and it's getting more and more difficult for me. I just basically can never really get comfortable. I feel like I'm carrying like a boulder in my belly, and so even like turning or manoeuvring, it's just like an Olympic sport. I just wake up and I try and turn and it takes so much effort, and I'm like, oh please, like stop, it's so big. And when you feel her like moving in the night, it will wake me up because she's obviously so big. So it's just so uncomfortable. And I'm someone that does love sleep. I know people are going to say that when she comes, you want to cherish it before they arrive, but I'm finding it so difficult to get a good night's sleep, especially undisturbed. I'm up every night and I'm still having like cramps in my legs and it's like a tingly feeling and it's just horrible. I've just had that throughout pretty much the whole third trimester. It came, it went away, it came back, and now it's just been consistent over the last couple of weeks. And the other thing was that I just keep getting up in the night to pee. It can be once, it can be 3 times, there's just no knowing. I feel like it definitely depends on my positioning as well as I'm sleeping, because there must be ways where I'm like pushing pressure against my bladder and stuff, but it's just getting up, going to the toilet, can then not get straight back to sleep because I've disturbed myself. And then I'm often waking Rich up as well. So it's a pain, and it's really hard because I would love to get as much sleep as possible before she arrives, because I know it's not going to be that easy as soon as she's here, and it's just so hard, and there's nothing more I can do than just wait it out, hope that I'll get a really good night's sleep before I go into labour, but you don't know when it's going to happen, so it's really difficult. But I thought I'd just let you know how my sleeping's going, because it's a struggle, and I just wish that it was a little bit easier. I also wanted to touch on things I'm trying to do to induce labour. There's loads of things that they suggest to help get things moving, one of which is having raspberry leaf tea, but nowhere local to me sells it at all. And the only place, like I've seen it available online, even though Tesco's online has it, like Holland and Barrett, for example, don't have one near me. Nowhere, literally no shops in my town sells raspberry leaf tea, so it's so annoying. And I really wanted to have that, because even if it doesn't induce labour, it's meant to be really good in terms of softening your cervix and just helping labour progress a little bit better. I wish I'd thought about it before, because then I would have just ordered some, but if I ordered some now and by the time it would arrive, it just would get here too late. So I've not been able to get that, which is really annoying. They also say you could have sex, which is literally the last thing that I would want to do. Just not comfortable for anyone. Curries, but I don't like spicy food, so that's not going to work. I have been eating pineapple because, again, they say that might help things going, and then also having like warm baths. I think I've been having like a bath every day, if not every other day, whilst I've been on maternity leave, because I just love like relaxing. It definitely takes the pressure off, and it's like my sanctuary. I love it. I've been having like lush baths and using a combination of like the salts to help my itchiness, and it's been really nice, and I've always felt so much better. Like if I'm having a bit of a crappy day, or if I've woken up and Rich is like, are you okay? And I'm just like, oh, just so uncomfortable. He'll make sure that I have a bath, because it does really help, not only the way that I feel, because I feel like it just like elevates all of the weight and makes me feel really, really nice. It also just makes me feel better. I think just the idea of just kind of washing yourself and just feel it, it's a bit of a pamper, isn't it? So I've been really enjoying that, and yeah, it's definitely made me feel so much better. So I'd recommend that if you've been having a few days where you're just like, I feel like absolute crap, but I'm just gutted that I couldn't get any raspberry leaf tea anywhere. So if I have another child, I'll know to basically just stock up early on, so it's in my cupboard to start having from when I'm full term. And the final thing I wanted to touch on in this video was that I had a midwife appointment today, as I just touched on, and I was literally in and out in about 10-15 minutes. They're never very long at all. She basically did all the measurements in terms of like measuring my stomach from pubic bone to the top, and by her measurements she thinks that baby weighs more around 7.7 pounds instead of 9 pounds, which is obviously what the scan suggested. So she just said like it could be between the two. There's no exact science and the scan isn't 100% accurate, nor is this method. So it gives me a little bit of hope that she's not going to be as big as I think she's going to be. But I feel like the scan must be more reliable than her taking my stomach measurements, because I've known in the past that that's been not very kind of relative in terms of what everyone else is saying. But it was good to know that she might not be that big. I'm hoping that I have like an 8-pound baby or something, because that's what they predicted when they did my first growth scan. But I have no idea. I mean, we'll see what's more accurate when she arrives, but I'm hoping that she's on the lesser scale of it. She checked my urine, blood pressure, etc., and that's all absolutely fine. It has been throughout the whole pregnancy. And baby's heartbeat was great. I think it was 130 beats per minute, which again has been quite consistent over the last few weeks. So that's kind of how that was. It was pretty uneventful. I asked her about if there's anything else I could do in terms of the itchiness and if there was anything to be worried about. She said no, not at all, just keep applying lotions and creams and E45 cream as well as calamine cream and things like that. So I'm just going to keep doing that and hope that the itchiness does go away. But she just said it's the nature of the fact that you're getting so much bigger. Your skin is growing and adapting so quickly that of course it's going to be itchy because it's literally stretching. So that was less reassuring. She was going to make me an appointment for next week should I go like a week overdue. But she just basically said, see what happens at your consultant appointment on Thursday, which is tomorrow, because she is under the impression that they're going to make a decision on what to do with me in that appointment. She said that anyone else that she's had that's been under consultant care, if they've made an appointment for their due date, then chances are they're going to make a decision on what to do. So that might mean that they might plan to induce you. And even if they book an induction, there's normally a bit of time for your body to hopefully naturally go into labour before then. But they will probably put a date on it just so that they're more in control because of my platelet levels. And if it can be a safer delivery by having the option of an epidural, then they'd rather do that. So she seems to think that my appointment tomorrow will consist of them saying you're being booked in for this date. So that was a bit gutting, because the beginning of the week I thought that I was over that and that we didn't have to worry. And now it's like the same thing all over. So it's one of those things, isn't it, that you like, nobody wants to be induced, nobody wants to have to go through that. I certainly don't. I'm worried about how much more painful and how much longer it would be because your body doesn't want to do it naturally. But then I also know that they're doing it only for the right reasons, because you know, my health could be at risk, so could babies. And I know you can turn down a induction, but I don't know what they're going to say. So I'll let you know in my next update. Hopefully, well, I just don't know when my next update will 100% be. But even if I was to go into labour like a couple of days into week 40, for example, I'll try and update you on the days that I did do, because I think it's important to know every step of the journey. So we'll see what they say tomorrow. It definitely made me a lot more worried about tomorrow's appointment, but I also think that I'm getting so close to the end that they are just making the right decisions based on our circumstances. So we'll see what they say. And she said that they might offer you the sweep tomorrow as well. So again, you don't have to do it, but it's one of those things that if it can help stimulate natural labour, it's probably worth doing. And so that might happen tomorrow. I don't know whether they'll do it there and then or whether I would have to book in for it. Who knows? Again, I'll see what they say tomorrow. I'm going to go in prepared to have it done, because I think that if they offer it, it's best to just not think about it and it's just like, just do it. Which I'd obviously rather not do. But, I mean, who wants to have it done? Doesn't sound pleasant at all. But if it could prevent me being induced, or if they give me a date that I have to be induced, for example, then I'd rather try anything to get things moving naturally. So I would probably say yes to it, but it's not a very nice feeling. But yeah, that's everything from week 39. I feel like these videos are still so long, but you know, she's hopefully going to be here next week. That's what I keep thinking to myself. I'm like, come on, she needs to make a move on. But I have no idea. I swear to God, if I go like a week or 2 weeks overdue, I don't know what I'm going to be like, because I just want her out so bad, and I'm so done with being pregnant. So fingers crossed, this is one of my last updates. I would love it to be, but I'll obviously keep you guys in the loop regardless of what happens, and then I'll let you know how her labour and delivery went and things like that. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know how you're getting on, and congratulations if you are also 39 weeks pregnant. It's getting to the scary stage now, but I'm so ready for her to be here. I do just want it all over and just to enjoy having a little newborn baby in the house. So yeah, if you could hurry up, that would be great. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!